Okay, so we're on the 10th. It says here, Petrelli Brothers delivered goods ordered from them, 1,500 less, 10% trade discount, paid by check. If it says paid by check, it goes to your cash payments journal. Okay, cash payments journal we filled in. Our first transaction was document 62. So if we paid by check, the next check is 63. Date is the 10th. You write the name of the person you paid, in this case Petrelli Brothers. Okay. It said 1,500 Rand less 10% trade discount. So you need to take 10% of 1,500, which is 150. Take 1,500 minus 150 and it gives you 1,350. So that is what we are buying the goods for. 1,350 in trading inventory because it says goods, and we know that goods are called trading inventory. Okay. Does this transaction affect the amount that we owe a debtor, or the debtor owes us, or that we owe a creditor? If we paid cash? No, so then it doesn't go to the debtors or creditors ledger. You move on to the next transaction. Next transaction is on the 14th. It says cash to check for 600 Rand to pay the weekly wages, as well as the stationery for personal use. Okay, so I'm cashing one check to pay for two things, wages and stationery. Okay, so cash to check goes to which journal? Cash to check goes to the CPJ. Okay, document number 64. Date is the 14th. If we cash a check, your details must say cash. The check was for 600. Part of its wages, part of its stationery. It says refer to the 7th to decide how much the wages will be. If you look at the 7th, we employ 3 shop assistants, each earning 180 per week. So 180, my wages per week is 180 times 3, which is 540. So 540 of this was for wages. And then what's the balance? What's 600 minus 540? It's 60. Is then for stationery. Okay, so you do it on one line, it's one check. Okay, next transaction. Again, sorry, it doesn't affect. And I missed something. It says, as well as stationery for the owner's personal use. If it's stationery for the owner's personal use, is it stationery for the business? No, so that stationery should actually be drawings. Okay, this transaction doesn't affect the amount that the amounts for any of my debtors or creditors, so I'll move on. On the 16th, cash sales amounted to 460. These goods were bought the previous month for 360 less 15% trade discount. Which journal do I record cash sales in? Okay, it goes to the CRJ. Cash sales would then have a tick because it's cash register roll. I don't have a name. Date is the 16th. In details you put sales. 460 Rand in analysis of receipts, and then you need to check, did I receive any more money on the 16th? I received a check from someone, so yes I did, which means I'm not going to bank it immediately. I need to say what was the 464, it was for sales. Now instead of giving me a markup, they've actually given me the cost price. They've said the cost price was 360 Rand less 15%. So I only paid 360. What is 15% of 360? It's 54. So 360 minus 54, I only paid 306 Rand for these goods. Okay, so the cost price is only 306. Again, it doesn't affect the amount that a debtor or creditor owes me. So it doesn't go to debtors or creditors ledger. Next transaction says, received a check from N. Sanders to settle their account to date. If I'm receiving a check, I'm receiving money. Do you agree? Okay. Goes to which journal? Okay, it goes to my CRJ. It's document number 53. Date is the 16th, so you're going to say, put your debtor's name in the details. It's going to affect the amount that this debtor owes me. So you need to put that debtor's ledger account, which you're also going to write it in his debtor's ledger. So you're going to write your DL1. And it says he settled his account to date. Okay, I don't have an amount there, so you need to go and look at his account and see up to date what does he owe me. He owes me 1,539, so that is how much I'm receiving from him. Okay, that's the last amount you're receiving on that day, so you're going to underline analysis of receipts. You're going to take 460 plus 1,539, and you're going to get 1,999 is what you take to bank at the end of that day. The 1,539 goes to debtors control. Okay, again you're going to ask yourself, does it affect the amount that this debtor owes me? The answer is yes, so it means I must go to my debtors ledger and update that amount that he owes me. Date is the 16th. If you're receiving money from a debtor and you recorded it in the cash receipts journal, your details over here will be receipt number 53. You're going to write CRJ7. Does this debtor owe me more or less if they've paid me back? They owe me less, so I'm putting it in the credit column, 1,539. And he now owes me nothing. Okay. Next transaction says, sold goods bought on the 10th to Prof. Chandra at a profit of 10%. Okay. If I'm selling goods to a debtor, which journal does it go to? Debtor's journal. That profit is your markup. Okay, so it's giving me the stuff that I bought on the 10th, which is that 1,500 less the trade discount. I'm selling it at a profit of 10%. Okay, so what do I have? Do I have a selling price or have I been given a cost price? I've been given the cost price because that's what I bought the goods at. Okay, so I'm going to have to calculate the selling price. We said if we're selling to a debtor, it goes to your debtor's journal. Document number 43. Date is the 18th. Put your debtor's name. It's going to affect his amount that he owes us, so it's going to be DL2. I know that the goods that I bought on the 10th, it's this entry here, the cost price is in 1,350. So your cost of sales has been given. You need to calculate sales. So to calculate sales, you're going to take 1,350 times 100 plus the markup, which is 110, divided by 100. So it's just other way around of calculating cost of sales. It should be more than your cost of sales, and it is. It's 1,485. That is your sales amount. This transaction affects the amount that this debtor owes me, so I need to go and report it in DL2. Go to his debtor's ledger account. Date is the 18th. You're going to write invoice number 43. Comes from debtor's journal number 7. Does he owe me more or less? He owes me more because he bought on credit. So 1,485. You're going to take 1,125 plus 1,485 and you get 2,610. Okay, then you're done with the transaction and you move on. Okay, if I'm receiving an invoice, if I receive a source document, am I buying or am I selling? I'm receiving a source document, so am I buying or selling? I'm buying, okay? So if I'm buying and I receive an invoice, am I buying cash or am I buying on credit? I'm buying on credit. If you buy on credit, which journal does it go to? Creditors journal. Okay, go to your creditors journal. In your creditors journal, we're going to enter, we've entered one already, we're going to now just move on to the next source document, document number 26. Date is the 18th. Your creditor is Nikki Wholesalers. Okay. It's going to affect the amount that Nikki Wholesalers, or that we owe Nikki Wholesalers, so I know it's going to be entered in their creditors account, and Nikki Wholesalers is CL2. So you write just CL2. We bought 2 things from them. If I buy 2 things, do I receive 2 invoices? No, I just receive 1 invoice with the total. So I need to total here. The total of this invoice is going to be 444 plus 167 gives me 611. So you're going to say here 611. 444 was for typing paper and address labels, so that's going to be stationery. And then 167 was for files for the owner's wife. Is that files for the business? No, it's files for personal use, so we call it drawings. Okay. And this is the first time you would have seen a drawings entry in the creditor's journal. Okay. Next transaction says, cashed a check to pay the weekly wages. Cashed a check means I'm paying, so it's your cash payments journal. Each employee was given an increase of 10 Rand per week from the 14th of July. We're on the 21st of July. So from the 14th, they're now getting, instead of getting 180, they're getting 190 per week. Okay, so go to your cash payments journal. It's document number 54. Oh, thank you. Document number 65, 65. Date is the 21st. It's payment, so it's of wages, so you write cash. Then you're going to take 190, because they got a 10 Rand increase. You times that by 3, and it's 570 in bank and 570 in wages. It doesn't affect the debtor or creditor, so you move on to the next transaction. We drew a check, so we're paying by check in favor of Isaac Stores to settle our account to date. So we're paying the creditor back. Which journal? Cash payments journal. Okay. Go to your cash payments journal, document 66. Date is the 22nd. You write the creditor that you're paying's name. If you pay a creditor back, it's going to go to the creditor's ledger, so you need to write the CL number, which is CL1. Okay, and it just says to date. There's no amount, so I'm going to go to Isaac Store's account, and I'm going to check what is the amount that I owe them to date. 2,416, and that is what I'm paying back. 2,416. And then, because you're paying a creditor, you put it in your creditors control column. It affects the amount that they owe me, so I go and update Isaac Store's account. In the creditors ledger, you're going to write your date's the 22nd. If you make a payment to a creditor, what was the source document that the business used? It's a check. Okay, check counterfoil, so you just need to write the check number. Okay, does Isaac Stores, do we owe them more or less if I've paid them back? I owe them less, so I'm going to put it on the credit, or sorry, on the debit side, 2,416. That minus that now gives me 0. Okay, next transaction says, send a check to Telkom for the telephone account. Send a check, it's CPJ. For your telephone account, so in your CPJ, it's just going to go under telephone. Document 67, date is the 24th. You're going to write your Telkom. It's 305 Rand, and there's no telephone column, so you put it in sundry, 305 telephone. Okay, it doesn't affect the debtor or creditor, so it doesn't go to the ledger accounts. Rent amounts to 3,600 Rand. Received a check from our tenant, Matt Parkman, for rent. Okay, I'm receiving a check, so I'm receiving money. Which journal? Okay, goes to your CRJ. In your CRJ, we are now on document number 54. Date is the 25th. Our tenant is M. Parkman. We received 3,600 Rand for rent. Before I put it in analysis of receipts or bank, I'm going to check. Did I receive any more money? I sold goods for cash. So yes, I did receive more money on the 25th. So I'm not going to bank it yet. The 3,600 goes to sundry and you put it as rent income. Remember, if you just put rent, you don't get the mark. You have to say rent income. Okay. Okay, we move on to the next transaction. Also on the same day, it says sold goods for cash. If I'm making a cash sale, which journal does it go to? Okay, CRJ. I've got no name of a person that I'm selling it to. So you assume it's cash register roll. Date is still the 25th. In details, you write sales. Tells you it was for 1,000 Rand. Now that's the last transaction for the day. So you underline analysis of receipts and you put 4,600, the total of the two transactions in bank. 1,000 goes under sales and it then tells you, oh, I made a mistake. Wait. I've read the wrong amount. Let's just look at it again. It says sold goods costing, that's my cost price, 1,100 for 1,430 Rand cash. Okay? So you're going to just put in analysis of receipts 1,430 and then add up. Your cost of sales is actually 1,100. Okay, let's just get it to dry first. Okay, 1,430, sorry, the bank must then be, what is it, 5,000, 5,030, okay. It doesn't affect the debtor or creditor, so you move on to the next transaction. Your next transaction says received a check. So I'm receiving money from Prof. Chandra, who's a debtor, to settle half their outstanding debt on the 1st of July. Okay? Only half of what they owe me on the 1st of the month. So if I'm receiving a check, I always start just entering the transaction so long. Document number 55. Date is the 27th. You put the debtor's name. Because he's a debtor, you need to put his debtor's ledger number, which is DL2.
A reminder that the metric fashion show tickets have been sold out.